guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. I'm back here at Ed Morse Mazda in Newport Richey, Florida, because guess what? We have it. I promised you from the LA Auto Show, we have the all-new 2020 Mazda CX-30, and guess what? This is gonna be that full in-depth review that I talked about from the auto show when we first saw it at the Mazda display. But let's talk a little bit about this Mazda CX-30. So Mazda has been very successful with creating a really in-depth SUV segment within their lineup. Now, one thing that Mazda's been working on is creating an upscale brand within Mazda without bringing upscale prices. This CX-30 is actually going to slot in between the CX-3 and the CX-5. Of course, there's still the CX-9, which is going to be their largest SUV. Now, I know you're probably wondering, and if you have not seen the LA Auto Show review of this, you're probably saying, well, why is it called the CX-30? Why not just call it the CX-4? The reason why they call it the CX-30 is because CX-4, that name's already taken. They actually sell a vehicle in China, that domestic market only, that's already called the CX-4. And because this sits on the Mazda 3 chassis, that's why they decided to call it the CX-30. Mazda CX-3 actually sits on the subcompact Mazda 2 chassis, so that's why it's a lot smaller. This is going to fit really perfect in between the 2 and the 5. This one is going to be your standard entry model. We will be bringing you Touring and Grand Touring and everything else, but I figured, hey, what better way to show off this CX-30, because the price point is going to just blow your mind. But let's go ahead and get into the all-new Mazda CX-30. Right off the bat, you know it's a Mazda. Why? Because of the styling. I really love their slim and trim LED headlight design, very small housing, everything's blacked out, and I really like the way that they do the silver right around that LED projector beam there. Gives it a great look. You can see how the front fascia kind of curves down, and I know it may look black on camera because it's so sunny today, but this is that deep impact blue. It sparkles like a blue diamond. As we come down, no fake vents. I love the flow going on here. Look at the nice and slim and trim LED lighting down near the lower lip area. We come across, and then there it is, that Mazda signature grille. I like the way it's flat black on this particular trim level. You got your Mazda logo there. The chrome, the way it goes from one side to the other, so smart, so just seamless. It's like one piece. Down here, you have a larger functioning opening, of course. I like that it's flat black. This is gonna take a nice beating, but from one side to the other, really gives it that nice look that lots of people are digging from Mazda. If you notice, the hood comes down with the front fascia, very, very low and sloping. We go ahead and dive on top here. Love the body line on each side. Simple. Doesn't need to be all these creases and everything where it looks like you made a paper plane in elementary school. Nice and smooth and flowing. We come around the corner, and here's something that, believe it or not, at the LA Auto Show, I didn't know right away, but I'm gonna zonk one area of this, and it's the fender trim and the side trim. I feel like this needs to be a little bit lower, maybe about that thick, because I feel like they went a little too high with it, which kind of throws up the proportions. But what you're going to get on this particular trim CX-30 are these 16-inch wheels. I know that they're on the smaller side, but they do look really good, this gunmetal metallic gray. And the great news is the larger sidewall is going to give you a nice ride. That's a 65 series sidewall, 215 on the width, but definitely driving this every day would be nice and comfortable. Now, going into the fender treatment, everything's smooth. Here's where I was talking about that lower sill area. I wish it was just a little bit lower. I like that it's flat black because it's actually going to take a beating, but very, very, you know, it's on the higher side. I wish it was just a little bit lower, but they take the deep impact blue, bring it onto the mirrors. You can see the roof line. I'm 6 feet tall. You can see where that roof line is. Flat black with a little bit of chrome along the bottom. I think it fits it very nicely. We keep working our way back, and I just love the rounded shape. Just like on their other models, there's not a lot of flat surface on the CX-30, and I'm digging it. Little small quarter window. I like the way that they bring the trim. They extend it back, and even the way they wrapped it in so that they didn't have to do full chrome top and bottom. It looks good. We come around to the back, and I'm gonna say it again, just like I say it every other time when I'm doing a Mazda, they have some sexy taillights. It's a car that doesn't cost $200,000, $300,000, but I'm telling you, these taillights, full LED. I love the design. Look at how they extend off from the bodywork. Nice touch. We come across the back, CX-30 badging. Very, very clean. Otherwise, we come down, you're gonna get that same flat black bumper. I think it fits it perfect, and dual exhausts that are actually functional, which is great to see because a lot of manufacturers are moving away from that. But why don't we go ahead, pop the hood, and see what's powering the CX-30. All right, guys, we got the hood pop. Prop rod is in place. I'm not zonking the prop rod anymore. I've gotten lots of hate mail and things like that, so I'm gonna let it go. But underneath the hood is that tried and true 2.5 liter inline four naturally aspirated engine. What you're looking at, this is of course front wheel drive. You can get optional all wheel drive. 186 horsepower, 186 pound-feet of torque. I think the greatest news that anybody could tell me with this hood open is that there's no CVT. It's a 6-speed automatic transmission. And what's wonderful is that it weighs around 3,232 pounds, but you're gonna get in the MPG world, city 25 and 33 on the highway. So really good feedback for the MPGs. It's that 2.5 liter that they use in a variety of their lineup. I'm sure eventually we will get a CX-30 that does have the turbocharged engine. That would be a lot of fun in a package this size. But why don't we go ahead, fire up the CX-30 and see what it sounds like. All right, guys, we're inside the 2020 CX-30. Now, this one being that entry-level trim, I know you're probably saying, well, Joe, it's got a great look to it. It's fresh. How much is it? MSRP for this one is around $22,000. Let's see what you get for the money. Now, to the door panels. This is where Mazda knocks the ball out of the park. Look at the style on the door panel. It's got that floating armrest design. I like the leather type trim on the armrest. It is nice and soft, the contrast stitching, and also that upper piece that extends off of the door. Very, very stylish, something that you just don't find in this segment. Now, up on the dash, I don't know if you could tell with the camera, this is actually blue. I'm digging it. It's something different, and it works with the deep impact blue. You got the contrast stitching, nice soft material. This is where you're feeling that high upscale finish. You have your horizontal display. Now, of course, you go up the trim levels, you're gonna get larger screen, but you can see here that you could go through all your different information. I could go into navigation. There's our navigation compass. Obviously, we need an SD card, but you know, the way that it works and everything, very smooth. It doesn't have that rainbow design anymore. A lot of people are missing that. Let me show you the backup camera. There's your backup camera, non-directional. So that is one thing I am gonna zonk. I wish that it had the directional to at least show how you're turning the wheel with the backup camera there. But other than that, it's fairly clear. It's not the most clear, and I wish that it filled up the whole screen area. But I do like the silver on the AC vents. There's your start-stop button, this nice silver trim that goes all the way across. AC controls, really easy to use, no dual climate at this price point. You have a cubby here for your breath mints when you're out on a date. 2 cup holders. Here is your Mazda Key Fob. It reminds me of like an old Zippo or something like that. Every time I see one of these, I want to flip it open and just start rolling my thumb on the Zippo lighter portion. But this is your key fob. It's very light though. Flat black, so you don't have to worry about fingerprints. This is controlling that 6-speed automatic. You do have the toggle switch to put you into sport mode that changes the parameters of the engine and the transmission. Here's that iDrive style controller that allows you to turn and twist for the navigation. You got your radio control, electric e-brake. I like the touches though. Look at that, nice stitch work. Armrest. This armrest is like the poster child for the perfect armrest. The size is great for the width. The softness is perfect. The stitching is amazing. Slides back so you can kind of get access to those, you know, Lay's chips in there. You know, if you're feeling a little hungry, and then you kind of close it up. But other than that, you lift it up. You have a little bit of felt lining, a 12 volt, and a USB, and you could probably stack standing up, I'd say about 13 to 14 Twinkies. So it's actually quite spacious, and there's a little divider in there. So if you want to keep your Twinkies and your ho-hos separate, you could do that. Really nice setup. Close it up, slide it back. Seats. Cloth in this trim, but very, very durable. They look good with the same stitch work. Of course, it's manual controls for both the passenger and the driver. But like I said, MSRP at $22,000, you got to keep that in mind. But why don't you get over to the business end? I'll show you behind the wheel of this CX-30. All right, guys, business time behind the wheel. There's your manual controls. You do have the wheel of time here to adjust the lower portion of the seat, but it's actually quick reacting. Some other brands, you have to keep turning it until your wrist breaks, but that's not here. Steering wheel, love the simplistic design. It is that rubber material. Think price point, remember, keep it in check. I like the horn button. I like the way they have the assortment of buttons here. You could go through all sorts of information. Of course, you're gonna get all your safety features, lane keep assist and all that good stuff. Dash is great. You have an analog tach, you have analog coolant and fuel gauge, and then you're gonna have digital displays. Believe it or not, that speedometer is digital. Watch this. You could actually go through a plethora of information there to let you know what's going on with your CX-30. Very nice touch, so clear and crisp. I mean, it looks like a gauge. Every time I get into one, I'm like, that can't be fake. A fake gauge. I mean, it's a real gauge, but you know what I'm saying. It has to be analog, but it's definitely digital. Headroom, I could actually lower the seat a little bit, which I'm going to. Got plenty of headroom in here. I like the lighter headliner. Kind of makes everything a little bit more open and airy. Why don't we check out that back seat and see how your passengers are going to be like in the CX-30. All right, guys, back seat time. It's a little bit on the plain Jane side, but you know what? It works. You have plenty of headroom. I'm sitting upright. This is on a Mazda 3 chassis. If you're coming from a CX-3, this might be the next smart step because of the amount of room. One pocket, I was lucky enough to pick the right seat, but the problem is who's not lucky are the people back here, not even a 12 volt. I know this thing is a winner price point wise, but I would like at least a 12 volt. I'm not even asking for rear AC, but plenty of headroom, which is nice. Leg room is great. Why don't we go ahead and check out the cargo area and see how versatile this CX-30 is. All right, guys, time to check out the most important part of any CUV, SUV, whatever you want to call it. Let's check out the cargo area. It's all manual lift, but it's nice and light. Nothing that's really big. With the seats up, plenty of room. You're looking at 15.2 cubic feet of space. You fold those seats down, it jumps up to 45.2. And I'm going to show you just how easy it is. You push the button right at the top. 1, 2, buckle your shoe. Let's start throwing things in the back of this CX-30. I'm gonna go ahead and also show you underneath. There is your spare jack and all the rest of the goodies. Put it down, but I'm really digging how much room there is back here for this particular model, because that was a sore spot. A lot of people went out and got a CX-3 thinking that it was more room than a Mazda 3, when in reality, it was less room. So this CX-30 really helps bring that up to par of how much space you should have for your cargo. But if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's see how this CX-30 drives. All right, guys, we left Ed Morse Mazda. We're in the all-new CX-5. What I love right away is how smooth this is. Very, very smooth. And I just keep thinking about the price point, and I'm blown away every single time. Steering has a great weight to it. I really feel that Mazda is still designing the feedback into the vehicle for the driver. If you enjoy actually driving, you're gonna get a great weight and good response from the front end of the CX-30. Visibility is good, even out the back window. I was a little curious about the back window, how small it was. Visibility is still great. On throttle, my favorite part though is the 6-speed automatic transmission. It really does work so much better than a CVT, by far. And then of course you could put it into sport mode, which I'll do that now. And what it does is that now adjusts the shift points, the parameters of the engine and everything to give you faster shifts and give you some quicker acceleration. I really think the 0 to 60 time, it feels faster than 0 to 60, about 7.98 seconds, to be honest with you. It feels faster than that. So I like that overall experience. The iPad, if you want to call it that, horizontal display, actually the way that they sunk it into the dash looks very, very smart. It really does. And this blue leather on the top portion of the dash, it's very tasteful. I like it. Smooth ride. Side mirrors are really attractive looking. I like the shapes that Mazda integrates into their vehicles. But the side mirrors, they look sexy. Yes, I'm saying a side mirror looks sexy, especially on this CX-30. I got plenty of shoulder room, elbow room is great. Seating position, even with the manual controls in this particular model, I was able to get it to fit my body perfectly. Let's see how we merge with traffic. So rolling on throttle, remember front wheel drive, not bad, not too bad. I mean, yes, this thing would be awesome with a turbocharged 2.5 liter engine, and maybe that is to come down the line, but I am liking it a lot more than the CX-3. The CX-3 was on the cramp side, and that makes sense. It's on the Mazda 2 chassis and all that, but I like how simplistic everything is inside with the AC controls and all that. The dash is so easy to read and understand, and just the design in the door panels and stuff, the way it integrates into the dash when the doors are closed, very, very nice touches. And these seats, like I said, this is not the Grand Touring trim, are very supportive and comfortable. I'm really digging it. And I think that putting the cup holders in front of the shifter, much smarter move than having them behind the shifter. I do like that setup, but really, really great experience in this Mazda CX-30. I really think that if you don't need the extra size of a CX-5, this really is the sweet spot. Very, very nice for you. Cabin is quiet, feels good, and that deep impact blue looks good. Back on throttle. Good feedback from the brakes, nice and smooth. With the sport mode, the downshifts are very, very crisp and clear. Wonderful, but hopefully this gave you a nice overview of the CX-30. I'm gonna wrap this up and get back to Ed Morse. We're actually here, so I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, it's been a great day here at Ed Morse Mazda in Port Richey, Florida. I definitely gotta thank Brian and the rest of the crew. This thing just came off the truck the other day, and he was like, hey, I know your subscribers want to see it, and I know he's right. I think it's at a great price point. Where they put the price point at this thing, it's a home run, and you have that extra room that you need over the CX-3. But if it's SUVs, CUVs, trucks, cars, planes, rockets, and everything else that you want to see on Rady's Rise, is this what you want to keep seeing? Leave a comment in the comment section. If you're new to the channel, you're on your way out, hit the subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile coming back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Rady's Rise family. If you want to help us keep making great content just for you on the channel, click the link in the description, get yourself some Rady's Rise merch. Got to give it up to Big Guns McGee, Tom Moschner, working the camera like a champ. He's loving this CX-30. I don't blame him. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.